what teams these trainers have decided to bring.
And if we look at the teams that Adam and Sierra have brought to the Caster Showdown today, Adam has Regigigas, Weezing, Regieleki, G-Max Cinderace, G-Max Rillaboom, and then the Barraskewda as well, who a new Sword and Shield Pokemon that you don't see too much love out of. And then on Sierra's side, Gothitelle, a Regieleki of her own, G-Max Rillaboom, Arcanine, Vanillux, and Clefairy.
Yeah, so some interesting picks on both sides of the field. Shoutouts to Barraskewda. You gotta have something to cover the possibility of a rainy day, and Barraskewda's got your back for that. Vanillux, though, honestly, if Sierra's gonna be relying on any weather, it looks like she's gonna be relying on hail. So both trainers with G-Max Rillaboom for some fun grassy terrain antics, and of course our favorite bouncy boy, Regieleki, here to just do what it does best. Be fast, be a single type Pokemon, and hit with those super powerful electric attacks.
It is funny how it works out for Adam, because the Regigigas and Weezing combination not only is a strong lead in this potential battle, in this single type, in this battle, but also in VGC in general. It's actually a really strong combination, and they both so happen to be just the normal type in Regigigas and then just the poison type out of Weezing. So I think that worked out beautifully for Adam.
Yeah, running the Cantonian Weezing as well. I believe the Galarian form does have that dual typing. So like you said, just working out perfectly. And Regigigas is honestly one of the most fearsome Pokemon to take the Dynamax form. So if Adam can find a way to just start the game off with that Regigigas Weezing combination and go for one of those famous turn 1 Dynamax that all us VGC players know and love, I think that Sierra's going to have a tough time. But I like how Sierra's team does, it feels a little bit more Trick Room to me, you know, having the Gothitelle and the Clefairy. Clefairy can go for After You, which would make some of its speedier partners actually move slower in Trick Room, so be able to attack first. And Trick Room is a great way to get around Regigigas if you can find a way to set it up.
Well, let's get started right here in Game 1. We are going to be watching from Adam's perspective, so he'll be on the left side of your screen, more bottom that way. But it is Adam Dorricott and Sierra Hunter in our Caster Showdown. Adam, of course, leading with Weezing, Regigigas. There's no reason not to. And then Sierra on the top side of your screen has Clefairy and Regieleki. I do want to note, Gabby, with the Barraskewda actually kind of works potentially in this matchup, because Clefairy has Follow Me, and Barraskewda's Propeller Tail ability kind of works like Duraludon's, where you're not able to redirect those attacks. Unfortunately, it's not out here, so this Clefairy is free to go for any Follow Me's it wants to.
Yes, but if it does choose to go for that Follow Me, it's going to be taking a immensely powerful attack from that Regigigas. But I like that Adam decided to lead with these two Pokemon, because I think we're going to see Sierra's strategy right off the bat in order to stop the Regigigas and the Weezing from working together, getting rid of that slow start ability thanks to the neutralizing gas, and being just a tremendous attacker. But Regieleki getting some Dynamax in of its own to go for some of those big electric type attacks as well. So truly a showdown of titans.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to see both of these Pokemon that are really strong in VGC conventionally, but in this matchup you would assume Regigigas and Regieleki, they're like related. They're both Regis there. They're both Dynamaxing on turn 1. Of course, Regieleki is going to be significantly faster since it's one of the fastest Pokemon out there. A Follow Me from Clefairy will redirect any attacks towards that slot, and this Max Lightning into Regigigas does not do a lot of damage, but it will set up the electric terrain, which is going to help Regieleki out in future turns, giving it an additional damage on top of its ability that already boosts the electric attacks. Sierra revealing Life Orb on her Regieleki, and then Max Quake out of Regigigas into Clefairy does just about 50% of Clefairy's health there, but you know Adam really wanted that Max Quake to go into the Regieleki slot.
Yeah, but getting that special defense boost from the Max Quake regardless will certainly help.
The Sludge Bomb is super effective into Clefairy and takes it down. So Adam kind of covering both of his bases on that turn with the Max Quake and Sludge Bomb double attacks. If Clefairy went for the follow me, that would have been enough. Now Regigigas and Weezing have the +1 boost to their special defense as well, so they're going to kind of negate that electric terrain boost that Regieleki has just gained there. So a strong turn 1 out of Adam.
A very strong turn 1, and Sierra going to be sending in the Vanillux as a replacement for that Clefairy. You know, I find Adam's strategy very smart, starting off with that turn 1, going for the Max Quake into the Regieleki to boost up its special defense. Also could have brought Regieleki down to a Focus Sash, which is one of the more common items that they're known to bring, with the Sludge Bomb to possibly follow up, like you said, if that Clefairy didn't go for Follow Me. Now that Clefairy is off the field, it's possible that Regieleki will go down in one hit, and I'm not sure if a non-hail guaranteed accuracy Blizzard is going to help out much. This Vanillux might have to go for something, you know, a little bit more accurate, a little bit less strong, and maybe hope for a freeze or two, because this Max Lightning just isn't going to do enough damage.
It brings Regieleki brings Regigigas down pretty low there. Oh, but Weezing actually avoiding the attack. Regigigas is knocked out thanks to a critical hit there from the Vanillux. That is huge, because now Adam doesn't have that super strong Max Strike or potential Max Quake into Regieleki as well. But Sludge Bomb from Weezing will go into the Vanillux. And if you're wondering why there's no hail on the field, that is thanks to Weezing's ability, neutralizing gas. It turns off all abilities while Weezing is on the field. So that's why you use it next to the Regigigas to kind of deactivate the slow start ability, but also turns off the hail from Vanillux and gets rid of that ability boost, boosting electric attacks from the Regieleki as well. So Cinderace is now the answer out of Adam, and that critical hit was very tough for him to come back from.
It was, but shoutouts to Sierra targeting that Regigigas so aggressively with both of her Pokemon. I think that when you're staring down the Regigigas and the Weezing combination, a lot of people's instinct is to go for the Weezing to get rid of neutralizing gas, but if you could just knock out the Pokemon dealing damage, that works fine too.
Max Lightning on that third and final turn of Dynamax for Regieleki. Clean knocks out Cinderace. Cinderace not holding a Focus Sash as we saw there, so that is a one-hit knockout. And then this single target Blizzard does connect onto Weezing, brings it down around half of its HP. Sludge Bomb into the Regieleki is not going to do too much damage, and now Adam is down to his final two Pokemon, which are the Weezing and the Rillaboom. And unfortunately, these two, they kind of don't, synergize too well together, because Weezing is on the field. Now Rillaboom does not change the terrain. There is no grassy terrain set up to give it a boost to its grass attacks, and no priority grassy glides either.
I would have thought that Adam maybe could have switched out the Weezing. Yes, you would have potentially taken a Blizzard from that Vanillux onto your Rillaboom, but at least when you get to this turn, there would be grassy terrain on the field, and Regieleki wouldn't be as powerful. Something to keep in mind for Game 2.
Rising voltage from Regieleki into the Weezing slot. Is it enough to take it down? Yes, it does, even without its ability boosting its electric attacks, thanks to that Life Orb. It's strong enough, and because neutralizing gas is no longer on the field, the Snow Warning has activated for Vanillux, as well as Rillaboom's Grassy Surge. So now next turn, Rillaboom can go for a Grassy Glide, but the issue is you can only target down one slot. So if you go for the Regieleki, then you're going to take a guaranteed Blizzard right to the Rillaboom.
Yeah, the nice thing about Regieleki is that without the electric terrain on the field, that Rising Voltage isn't going to do as much damage. Rillaboom also will resist it, as it is a Grass-type Pokemon. I think you have to go for the Vanillux here. It seems like this Vanillux is very fast. I might even suggest it's holding something like a Choice Scarf, which means it's always going to use Blizzard at this point in time. And now that the Hail is active, those Blizzards will be single target and they will connect. So Rillaboom has to, answer that and just hope that the Regieleki and whatever else Sierra brought to this game can be knocked out by Rillaboom when the time is right.
Grassy Glide into the Vanillux will be enough to take it down. So if Regieleki only has electric attacks, it would be resisted, but Sierra's actually breaking out the Hyper Beam, which is a huge flex here, a super strong attack that you would assume is a very strong max strike option to lower the enemy's speed, but since we're already through those Dynamax turns, that Hyper Beam, now Regieleki's just going to have to sit around for the next turn as Sierra is forced to reveal her 4th Pokemon in this battle.
And Hyper Beam means Regieleki will not be able to use any attacks this turn. So Rillaboom is safe to target into Sierra's last Pokemon, a Rillaboom of her own. But I think in this instance, you know, the Rillaboom versus Rillaboom interaction here, given that Adam's Rillaboom has already taken chip damage, is not going to be knocked out by a single Grassy Glide, would probably take 2 Wood Hammers. And while a knockoff would be a great opportunity to get some information, you have to wonder what Adam's priority is. A lot of these Rillaboom now are holding the Assault Vest item, and given that none of the other Pokemon on Sierra's team are likely to hold Assault Vest, I feel like that's enough info, but I guess we're not getting any information yet because of that fake out.
Regieleki is going to take a turn to recharge thanks to that Hyper Beam, but it's not going to matter because Sierra had the fake out there. Now, it doesn't necessarily show anything on the Rillabooms. They could potentially have the same speed since it's the same Pokemon. We'll have to see in future turns which Rillaboom is faster because they obviously both have access to Grassy Glide right now. I think Adam's pretty much forced to click that to knock out the Regieleki. And he doesn't have U-turn for a super effective hit into Sierra's Rillaboom, so the ineffective hit into Adam's Rillaboom, not enough for the knockout. Grassy Glide does take out Regieleki, so it is an all Rillaboom final here, and of course with Sierra having significantly more health, she's going to come out on top.
Yeah, but I like that we saw at least one of these Rillaboom versus Rillaboom interactions there. We saw Sierra's Rillaboom move first. Unfortunately, only Adam knows at this point in time if that was a speed tie or if that was the fact that Sierra's Rillaboom is just trained to be faster. If we see one more turn here, hopefully we'll get a conclusion, if you will, on how these two Rillaboom pair up speed-wise, since that's going to be really key, I think, going into this game too, given how both these trainers did come down to these last two Pokemon. And given that Sierra's Rillaboom has moved twice, and we had the benefit of seeing that Grassy Glide lock-in from Adam, I think that's just a faster monkey.
Yeah, I think so as well. I really loved that game one out of both of them. Of course, that critical hit was very pivotal, but Sierra was already in a really strong spot as that Regieleki, with just from the Life Orb, not even having its ability being taken away from it because of Wheezing and the neutralizing gas, just shows how strong Regieleki can be. So I wonder what Adam's strategy is here, because you would think if he doesn't have a critical hit occur on his Regigigas, it survives and then you can max Quake the Regieleki because Clefairy was taken down. So you had a pretty sound strategy in game one. Do you roll the dice again that it works out for you, or do you have to switch it up?
It's interesting. Part of me can't help but wonder if maybe going for a Max Strike instead of a Max Quake for some speed control might be helpful, so that the Regigigas can eventually outspeed the Regieleki. That might be something that Adam can consider as well, but given how powerful Regigigas and Wheezing are together, you know, that puts on so much pressure on Sierra's side of the field. She is forced to answer that threat. I think that you stick with the same lead, maybe change things up in the back. That Cinderace didn't help too much, unfortunately, and just let that Regigigas and that Wheezing do their job.
All right, so let's get into game two and see if Adam can make any adjustments and force a game three in this solo type battle against Sierra. Sierra, taking a very close game, came down to just her Rillaboom as the only Pokemon remaining on the field, and Adam will decide that Regigigas and Wheezing is the best option for him. That neutralizing gas turning off Regigigas' slow start, so he doesn't have to wait all of those turns to get very strong. And Regieleki and the Gothitelle is the adjustment on Sierra's end. Now with Gothitelle, thanks to Shadow Tag, Adam is not able to switch out any of his Pokemon, but in this position, I'm not sure if he even is looking to switch out.
I mean, Shadow Tag is an ability, and Wheezing still is on the field. So
that's
for
right.
now,
Yep, I
Adam
totally forgot.
does have the benefit of switching, but if you were to switch out the Regigigas, who do you attack with? If you switch out the Weezing, Shadow Tag is back on the field, so even though it's not active, I don't think you switch now anyways.
Yeah, that's what Weezing does to you. It kind of messes with your brain there. So Regieleki is going to Dynamax yet again, just like Game 1. Regieleki will Dynamax on turn 1, and you would assume Adam is going to go for the same thing there. Because this strategy with Regieleki and Weezing, you know, because of that slow start ability, you really only want to utilize those 3 Dynamax turns. So Regigigas is not here for a long time. It's here for a good time. It's here for those 3 Dynamax turns to get off very strong either Max Strikes or Max Quakes. There is no Clefairy on the field either to redirect these attacks. So Regieleki with a Max Strike into the Weezing. We know that is based off of Hyper Beam, as we saw in Game 1, so that's a very strong normal attack, lowering the speed of Adam's Pokemon there. Is not enough for the knockout, though. And the Hypnosis from Gothitelle goes into Regigigas and connects. That's a 60% chance, and Adam's Dynamax Pokemon on turn 1 is put to sleep. The Weezing's taunt coming out just too late there, as now Gothitelle doesn't need to use Hypnosis anymore because it already put Regigigas to sleep. Yes, that was pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure that Gothitelle only outsped the Regigigas thanks to the help of that Max Strike and that speed drop. So a great adjustment from Sierra, stopping that Regigigas right in its tracks. Fortunately for Adam, though, that was the first turn of sleep, which means it's possible that Regigigas could wake up before the end of Dynamax, but that's certainly going to be a dice roll, and that's a really, really tough call to have to make. Do you keep your Regigigas on the field? Do you try and switch it up to try and save it for later? I think as long as Weezing's around, you got to keep it on. You got to keep it there. What an excellent turn out of Sierra on turn 1 there. Regigigas it really needs to wake up, as Weezing tries to protect here, but even with the lessened damage from that Max Lightning, it is still enough to take out the Weezing. There will be Electric Terrain on the field as well. And now the hail is going to get set off thanks to the neutralizing gas. Of course, even when Adam wakes up on his Regigigas, the slow start ability is activated, so he actually can't even attack there. It'd be significantly worse. So that's a very rough turn for first 2 turns for Adam here in this game too. It is, and you have to wonder how he's going to adjust now that the Weezing has been knocked out. It's almost like this Regigigas is just a problem on the field. You want to have like Rillaboom or Regieleki, which we do have the benefit of seeing in the back of Adam's party, to start bringing some kind of offensive pressure, but you can't have both them on the field. I like how he prioritized the Regieleki. Given that Electric Terrain has been set up by Sierra's own Regieleki, you might as well take advantage of that. But the fun thing about Regieleki is that they can knock each other out quite nicely, especially when there's the Dynamax factor involved. So Sierra has her pick, I think. Do you go for the knockout, or maybe do you just go for some big damage? Adam's Regieleki goes for Thunderbolt into Vanillix, is not enough to take it down, brings it very, very low, and then this Max Lightning out of Sierra's Regieleki brings Regigigas down into the red, but Blizzard will take care of it. It's not gonna be able to knock it out, but at the end of the turn, thanks to the hail, it will get rid of it. A Max Quake from Regigigas into Regieleki, and Regieleki survives the hit. That's you would think it'd be bulky, but really that's just because of slow start being activated on the field. That's what hinders Regigigas. It really is, and that's the downside to a Pokemon like Regigigas. It has incredible power, but as soon as that slow start ability takes effect, whether it's during those first 5 turns or whether it's after Weezing gets knocked out, you just lose that offensive pressure entirely. Fortunately for Adam, the Max Quake did boost his own Regieleki's special defense by 1 stage, and we did see the Regieleki on Adam's side of the field move first, and I think more importantly, outspeed the Vanillix. So he's in a decent spot here to score a couple of quick knockouts. You know that Gothitelle is going to be one of the last Pokemon on Sierra's side of the field, and Gothitelle isn't exactly known for its offensive pressure. So as long as these 2 Pokemon
can find a way to hang on until that Gothitelle and presumably the Rillaboom are present once again for Sierra, I think it's going to be a very close match.
Sierra's Regieleki will protect, expecting a fake out into that slot, and that is exactly what Adam goes for. So now Adam, with the Electro Web, trying to target both of Sierra's Pokemon there, is going to connect onto the Vanillix and be able to knock it out. So that's nice that you took a KO on Sierra's end, but this also gives her a free switch into either the Gothitelle or that fourth and final Pokemon that she hasn't shown yet.
And if that last Pokemon has something like Fake Out, I believe Gothitelle can even learn Fake Out as well. That's going to be a really tough position for that Regieleki on Adam's side of the field. It's at such low health. It really needed that double knockout there, I think, to make a stand.
Yeah, this is, I think Sierra has just played incredibly well and really utilized the power of Regieleki and the whole synergy she has with her team, like Vanillix with some ice chip damage, Clefairy in that first game. She's very, very masterfully built this solo type team to have strong synergy.
Yeah, and that's really what you got to do in these fun formats. You got to look at the Pokemon available to you, and even though it may be harder to get, that perfect defensive core that you always wanted, there's a lot of good offense or good defense in a good offense.
Absolutely. Rillaboom on Adam's end will go for the Grassy Glide into Regieleki, taking it down thanks to the priority Grassy Glide gets because of the grassy terrain. And there's no Assault Vest on Sierra's Rillaboom because that Rillaboom just went for Swords Dance, boosting its attack by 2 stages, and this Grassy Glide is going to hurt.
I don't think it necessarily needed that boost for the knockout on Regieleki, but that'll certainly help the Rillaboom versus Rillaboom endgame. Given that we saw Grassy Glide do about 40% health, I believe, in game 1, with that Sword Stance boost, that's gonna put it up to, a nice 2-hit knockout range. And with Gothitelle's support, I think that this Rillaboom will be able to find those 2 hits. Adam could try to go for an out, maybe try and paralyze something if you don't get the Grassy Glide right away for whatever reason, but unfortunately it's coming down to Rillaboom versus the 2 Pokemon on Sierra's side of the field, and without something like a Swords Dance of its own, it really just lacks that pressure needed in order to deal the big damage to bring out of this game.
That is some nice late game insurance out of Sierra, having Swords Dance on her Rillaboom. You kind of think when you're looking through Sword and Shield with Pokemon that are very strong in VGC that are just one typing, you'd say, oh, Rillaboom really fits that very well. So kind of preparing for that matchup with the Swords Dance. This Grassy Glide will take out Adam's Regieleki, and it is 2-1. Gothitelle showed off the fake out finally, Gabby, that we were expecting Gothitelle to have there. So Adam wasn't even able to get an attack off this turn, and he lost his Regieleki. So this is again Sierra in a commanding position.
Yeah, you have to wonder if that Rillaboom on Sierra's side of the field is holding something like a Miracle Seed as well, which will boost the power of Grass-type moves. You can't really find room for it when you're running a more bulky variant like Adam's Assault Vest Rillaboom, but when you're going for the extra offense anyways, like we saw with the Sword Stance on Sierra's side of the field, I would think you'd give yourself that nice boosting item as well, just to, really take advantage of the Grass-type power that the grassy terrain gives you, maybe throw in a helping hand in there as well. Just give Rillaboom all those boosts.
Absolutely. Gothitelle, it's done its job, so it's just going to helping hand, and that's a lot of damage for a Rillaboom attacking another Rillaboom there. Gothitelle had Focus Sash also, which is really interesting to see as the item there. Wanted to at least guarantee, whatever it had, if it was Fake Out or Trick Room, whatever scenario Sierra brought the Gothitelle for in this matchup. That's why the Sash was there. And then a helping hand, just a round of applause for Sierra's Rillaboom as it is able to take down Adam's last Pokemon, and Sierra wins the solo type caster showdown 2-0.
Yeah, not flinching in fear against the Regigigas and the